everyone, it's Uchiha here. Welcome back to the channel. So after 150 episodes of the Boruto Naruto Next Generations anime, the story is finally taking off in the correct direction. Welcome everyone, welcome back to the channel. Of course, we're starting off the week with a Boruto anime review as we've been doing for the past few weeks. Hope everyone's doing great for the most part. It's kind of a tough time these days, honestly, with the whole virus situation, but just stay safe, do what you have to, and let's get into today's video. So episode 151 for the Boruto anime. Honestly, if you've seen my recent video where I talk about the Boruto anime basically being 3 years too soon, you kind of have an idea how I feel about the story finally going into the direction that it needs to. Episode 151 features the final battle against, between Boruto Uzumaki and the leader of the Mujina Bandits gang, Shojoji, as his efforts to thwart Shojoji's plans of essentially taking over the Land of Fire. The cool thing I actually like about the Mujina Bandits arc is that even though a lot of people find that it's probably not that crucial in terms of the nature of its story in itself, but what I like about it personally is that you can see the potential for Shojoji to cause harm in the long run if he gets his way. So that's really what sells it tension-wise for me. But of course, this episode marks the beginning of them going towards the conflict with Kara. If you're a manga only, well, probably not manga only, but if you're a manga reader in general, you know what that means. Hype is beginning, the story is going into the direction that it needs to. The story feels like it's going somewhere now. Now, this episode in itself, I personally enjoyed. Honestly, the fight between Shojoji and Boruto in itself, like the art, the animation is like definitely it's not the best thing in the world, let's get that straight, but in terms of like the art quality, and especially like the exchanges between Boruto and Shojoji when Boruto's like using a jutsu or like just any like confrontation there, whether it's a Rasengan, a wind style, or a lightning style, you can definitely tell that the art and just the animation direction in those specific moments are like a good step up. The episode in general has some pretty decent art and animation, but the fight exchanges pretty good. Definitely helped to sell the fight between Boruto and Shojoji for me, and it just feels like a how should I even put it? It's kind of like a representation of what I've been saying a lot in this video in itself, that the series feels like it's going in the right direction right now after 150 episodes. No, what I will say, and I think it's one thing that I must cover that I don't usually cover in these reviews, is the opening. Spoiler warning ahead. Of course, the Boruto anime is, we finished the Mujina Bandits arc and we're going into, by right, we should be going into the out arc, but based on the preview for next week's episode, we'll be going into like some, not actually a slice of life, but in between episodes, I guess, to just kind of buy time for the manga to build up. I don't know if they're gonna do a full-blown like filler arc. I don't know. Might be expected that they'll adapt some of the novels that they have for Boruto, like the Sasuke novel and etc, etc. But the opening, still, it's not like the song, it hasn't really grown on me yet. Like the first impression, the song seems okay, but the visuals for the opening, definitely good. Of course, it kind of seems similar to one particular Naruto opening, like original part 1 Naruto. I think it's opening, let's see, Fighting Dreamers, that one after that, 6, I think it's opening 7 if memory serves right. Correct me on that if I'm wrong, but the visuals definitely pretty good for the opening. And of course, for those of you who don't know, but the person in the opening that they don't really show his face all that much, of course it is Kawaki. So that just goes to show to tell that the anime is going in a majorly different direction right now. Now back to the episode itself. One thing I really liked about the episode is the wrapping up of loose ends. Now, comparing the manga adaptation, or the manga version of this arc, to the anime version, of course we did have the extended section where we had Boruto and Team 7 invade, or basically infiltrate, Hozuki Castle, and we had the whole storyline or plot point of Kokuri and them trying to protect him. I'm glad in this episode that they actually wrapped that up and let Boruto and the others know about the mission at the end of the day was not a complete success, because at the end of the day, it's good that Boruto and the others realize that not every mission is going to be successful, but it really doesn't do anything for their character if they don't actually know that they failed. So that was one thing I was thinking about, you know, coming off the end of that section of the arc. So I'm glad to see that they resolved that and they actually let Boruto know at the end of the day that, yo, Kokuri's dead. so so that's good. And of course Team 7, the rest of Team 7 finds out by the end of the episode. Now the fight between Shojoji and Boruto, as I said before, art animation wise, really good. Definitely loved it. The choreography pretty decent. Of course, similar to the manga, I did love Shojoji's wind shield, or his wind deflecting Zephyr shield. That's what they went with the name. Yeah. I love the fact that it was able to deflect everything, and of course it all fell to Tento to come in at the end to help save Boruto. But of course the major selling point of the episode as well is the activation of well, anime only viewers, the karma seal on Boruto's arm actually making not appearance, but you know, an evolved appearance in this episode, as it kind of prevents Boruto from following up with another Rasengan to finish Shojoji off. And yo, like when Shojoji sees it, I really like how they, you know, animated and showed the concern and fear on his face. Honestly, I think it really helps to sell things like the opening, the art and animation, the reaction of Shojoji, and then the reappearance of like Sasuke in this episode. I think it all combines to make a pretty good package of selling to anime only watchers that, yo, the tension and stakes for the series is going to be elevated to the next level with the coming threats that are being seen or showcased in the opening. So for the most part, I thought this was a good episode. Like, I don't really have much problems with it. And of course it wraps up the Mujina Bandits arc by the end of it, as you know, Tento and Boruto, they basically say their goodbyes. And of course the whole theme of, you know, working hard for what you want basically comes in again, and that's good. Of course by the end Sasuke questions Shojoji regarding the mark on Boruto's hand. Of course we find out about Kara, and it's been, well, things are being set up for them to be the major villain or major organization to tackle as we go forward, as they have a connection to Boruto's the karma seal, of course. So yeah, for the most part I love the episode. Like there's not much more to say about it than that, honestly. Really love the just production quality of this episode. Now going forward, like myself and a lot of other persons who I feel have been making some predictions of how the anime is going to handle things going forward, is that a lot of us expect them to actually adapt a novel or two for Boruto, because if you really translate this to the manga, this is about the end of chapter 14 or about chapter 15 thereabouts. So right now we're at chapter 44 in the manga, so it would only make sense if they either adapt a novel now or something, because if they stay to the manga, it's like strictly, because so far it seems like they're doing like one chapter, one episode, and in what, 20 episodes, well, probably like 30 episodes, we'd basically be catching up with the manga. So if they can put some more distance between them and the manga, that would be for the best. But honestly, again, I'm referring back to my same video where I talk about the anime taking 150 episodes to get to this point. I feel like we need a good middle ground between buying time for the manga to build up and actually expounding on other content in the Boruto series that people actually, well, the Boruto side of the franchise that people want to see. That's the important part. Compromise is important. So we gotta respect the whole production situation that everybody's in regarding the Boruto side of the franchise, where, you know, the manga's monthly. Of course, there's only so many pages you can crank out in 1 month, and the anime, basically, based on what I've seen with the Mujina Bandits arc, it adapts like 1 chapter per episode. So yeah, we gotta respect that. But at the same time, I think from a quality standpoint, they gotta respect what the audience want to see, those who have invested so much time in the Boruto series to date. Let's establish a middle ground. Let's adapt some content that we would actually be interested in seeing, and let's do it justice at the end of the day. So that's all I have to say about, you know, going forward where future arcs are concerned. But yeah, be sure to rate, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought about the episode overall compared to the manga. Of course, if you're a manga reader as well, that's something crucial. I think it did a pretty good job. I don't really have any problems with it. Of course, even when Sarada and Mitsuki showed up and them talking back to Konohamaru, everything worked out fine. But anyway, that's all I have for this one. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. God, it's so hot. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay. See you guys.